The main threat, the one marching on Berlin, has stopped. They've occupied Breslau, the capital of Silesia. They're just sitting there, celebrating, acting like the war is already won. Their commander, Prince Charles of Lorraine, has 66,000 men. He knows Frederick can barely scrape together 30,000. Charles is convinced Frederick will retreat, abandon Silesia, try to save Berlin. It's the smart move, the only move that makes sense. Frederick does the opposite. He force marches his army toward Breslau, toward the Austrian main army, toward the fight everyone says he should avoid. His generals think he's having a breakdown. This is suicide. Frederick just smiles that wolf smile and says, "Trust me." Frederick the Great wasn't born great. He was born Fritz, Crown Prince of Prussia. His father, Frederick William I, was a brutal, abusive tyrant who beat his son for liking music and poetry. Young Frederick tried to escape, run away to England. His father caught him, arrested. That's where Charles has concentrated his best troops and most artillery. Frederick rides out personally to scout the position, alone. Just him and a single aide. He needs to see it himself, understand the terrain, find the weakness. There's always a weakness. He spots it. The Austrian left flank, opposite end from where Charles expects the attack, ends at the village of Leuthen. The line there is not as strong, fewer troops, artillery positioned poorly. Frederick's mind is already racing. He's seeing the battle that hasn't happened yet, the movements, the timing, the geometry of destruction. That night he calls his senior commanders, spreads maps on a table in a freezing farmhouse. "Gentlemen," he says, "tomorrow we attack the Austrian left flank." The commanders exchange looks. The left flank is behind the Austrian centre. To reach it, Frederick's army will have to march across the Austrian front, perpendicular, in full view. It's suicide. "Your Majesty," one general says carefully, "if we march across their front, their artillery will destroy us." Frederick taps the map. "Not if we do it correctly," he explains. The plan is insane, brilliant, completely unprecedented. The Prussian army will march parallel to the Austrian lines, but behind a series of low hills that block the Austrians' view. Using the terrain as cover, from the Austrian perspective, it will look like Frederick is retreating, giving up, marching away to the south. Meanwhile, the Prussian army will be secretly moving to hit the Austrian left flank with overwhelming force, concentrated power against a weak... It's called the oblique order, oblique attack. Frederick didn't invent it. It dates back to ancient Greece, but nobody's successfully used it in modern warfare, because it requires perfect coordination, perfect timing, perfect discipline. One mistake, and the entire army is exposed, flanked, destroyed. Frederick looks at his commanders. "Can your men do this?" They look back. These men have followed Frederick through hell, lost friends, bled in snow and mud, watched comrades die. Yes, Your Majesty, Frederick nods. Then we march at dawn. December 5th, 4 a.m. The Prussian army begins moving, in darkness, in silence. 33,000 men, marching in perfect formation, each regiment knowing exactly where to be, what to do. This is what separates Prussian soldiers from everyone else. Discipline, training, the ability to execute complex maneuvers under fire without breaking. Frederick drilled this army for years, not just marching, maneuvering, wheeling, pivoting, changing formation while moving. Other armies can march in a straight line, fire volleys, that's about it. Prussian armies can dance, like clockwork, like a machine built out of human beings. Today, they'll need every bit of that training. As dawn breaks, the Austrian sentries see the Prussian army marching south, away from the main Austrian position. Prince Charles is in his headquarters when the reports arrive. "The Prussians are retreating, Your Highness." Charles smiles. He knew it. Frederick is running, abandoning Silesia, probably heading to defend Berlin. Smart move, the only sensible move. "Should we pursue, Your Highness?" Charles considers. His army is in a strong position. Why risk it? "No, let them go. We'll occupy the rest of Silesia, then march on Berlin ourselves." He orders breakfast, celebrates. The war is basically over. Meanwhile, behind those low hills, out of sight, the Prussian army is pivoting, wheeling, the entire formation turning 90 degrees, no longer marching south, now marching west, directly toward the Austrian left flank, and the Austrians have no idea. Ici Esquem, the Austrian troops on the left flank, near Leuthen village, are relaxed, eating breakfast, cleaning equipment, some are asleep. The main battle, if there is one, will be on the right flank. That's where Frederick will attack. Everyone knows it. So when Prussian cavalry suddenly appear on the ridge to their south, there's confusion. Not panic, just confusion. Is this a raid? A scouting party? Then the entire Prussian army crests the ridge. 33,000 men, in perfect formation, marching in line, battle flags flying, drums beating, coming straight at them. The Austrian officers start screaming orders. "Form up! Form up! The enemy is here!" Soldiers scramble for weapons. Artillery crews run to their guns. Cavalry mount horses, but they're not ready, not positioned, not expecting this. Frederick, riding at the front of his army, watches the Austrian left flank scramble. "Oblique order," he says to his aide. "Attack the weak point with overwhelming force, win the flank, roll up the entire line." He raises his hand. "Attack!" The Prussian left wing, Frederick's main striking force, Lastia, slams into the Austrian left flank like a sledgehammer. Not a scattered attack, a wave, coordinated, overwhelming. Prussian artillery, that positioned perfectly during the march, opens fire. Cannonballs tear through Austrian formations still trying to form up. Prussian infantry advances, not running, marching, parade ground precision, closing to 50 yards, firing volleys in perfect unison. The Austrian left flank breaks, not immediately. They fight, they're professionals, but they're outnumbered 3-1 at the point of contact. Surprised, disorganized, the Prussian line is like a machine. Fire, reload, advance, fire, reload, advance. Austrian regiments try to hold, fire back. But the Prussian fire is faster, more disciplined. 3 volleys to the Austrians too. Within 30 minutes, the Austrian left flank is collapsing. Prince Charles, in his headquarters 5 miles away, finally gets word. "The Prussians are attacking our left flank, Your Highness." Charles can't believe it. That's impossible. The Prussians were retreating. How did Frederick move his entire army unseen? How is he attacking from the south? "Send reinforcements," Charles orders. "Everything we have." But it takes time. Time to get orders to units 5 miles away. Time to march those units into position. Frederick knows this. He's counting on it. The oblique order isn't just about hitting a weak point. It's about speed. Destroying that weak point before the enemy can react, then using the breakthrough to roll up the entire line. By 11 a.m., Frederick's attack is working perfectly. The Austrian centre realises what's happening. Their left flank is being destroyed. The Prussian army is going to sweep down their entire line, flanking everything. Austrian regiments start pivoting, trying to face south, to meet the Prussian attack. This is chaos. You can't pivot an entire battle line under fire. Units get confused, formations break, orders contradict each other. The Prussian attack doesn't stop, doesn't slow, just keeps coming. Frederick is everywhere, riding along the lines, encouraging, directing, adjusting. "Faster," he shouts. "Don't give them time to form up. Faster!" The Prussian infantry advances, step by step, firing, reloading, moving. Austrian cavalry charges, trying to break the Prussian momentum. 100 of horsemen, sabres raised, thundering across the frozen ground. The Prussian infantry doesn't break. They form square, a defensive formation designed specifically to stop cavalry. Walls of men with bayonets pointed outward. The cavalry hits the squares, can't penetrate. Horses refuse to charge into a wall of steel. Riders are shot down, horses fall, the cavalry retreats, broken, useless. The Austrian line is bending, curling, like a piece of paper being folded. The left flank is gone, the centre is turning. The right flank is watching its entire army collapse from the side. This is the oblique order in action. Don't fight the whole army at once. Hit one point with overwhelming force, break it. Then let the entire enemy position fall apart as they try to react. Noon. 3 hours into the battle. The Austrian army is no longer in a line, it's in a semicircle, trying to face attacks from 2 directions at once. Cohesion is gone, command structure is failing. Prince Charles is trying to organise a counterattack, get reserves into position, stabilise. Too late. Frederick has already shifted his attack. The Prussian right wing, held in reserve until now, suddenly charges the The idea that a smaller force with superior training could defeat larger armies. That tradition created the German General Staff, the Prussian war machine, eventually the German Empire, and modern military tactics, the idea of maneuver warfare, hitting weak points with concentrated force, speed and coordination over brute strength. Leuthen demonstrated it all, in 5 perfect hours. Let's talk about what made this possible. Luck played a role, the terrain, the Austrian complacency, Frederick's scouts finding that weak point. But luck isn't enough. Plenty of generals get lucky and still lose. Frederick won because of preparation. The Prussian army wasn't just brave, it was trained, drilled endlessly in complex maneuvers. Other armies march forward, fire volleys, charge with bayonets. Prussian armies wheel, pivot, form square, change formation, maintain cohesion while moving, fire faster than anyone else. That training took years, cost money, required obsessive attention to detail. Frederick's father, brutal as he was, built that army, drilled them mercilessly, created the foundation. Frederick inherited it, perfected it, used it like a scalpel, and at Leuthen he used it perfectly. The oblique order only works if your troops can execute it, can march across the enemy front without breaking, can hit the weak point hard and fast. One breakdown, one regiment losing cohesion, one artillery battery firing late, the whole thing falls apart. The Prussians didn't break down. They executed perfectly. That's the real lesson of Leuthen, not genius tactics, preparation, discipline, training, making the impossible routine. If this breakdown of military genius resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments. What other military masterpieces should we analyse? Frederick the Great was outnumbered, surrounded, on the verge of total defeat. He had one chance, 5 hours, one perfect battle. He made it count. Sometimes genius isn't about having the best army or the most resources. It's about taking what you have and using it perfectly. Frederick did that at Leuthen, and for 5 hours on a frozen December day, he showed the world what military genius looks like.